Hi, this is Yahira Lobos in the house. Ow! Want to give thanks to our kachinas behind me. We have a beautiful sacred altar. This is Yahira Lobos, and I'm coming at you. Didn't really do my hair. Sorry about that. In fact, let me just go get a little ponytail holder. Hold on. Ow! Caramba. Okay. Okay, guys, sorry about that. It took me a minute. It's better to look ready rather than not. Right? Oh my God. Sorry about that. So, thank you to everybody who's here. Sending some love out to Alira Star. Okay. Let's make sure we got Alira Star in the house. Okay, that's my Wolfie. Wolfie. Oh my God, it's just so bothering me. What do I do? This morning, I woke up and Spirit told me we are getting ready for July 4th. And we all know that it's Habshite, that we are literally trying to express freedom while firecrackers that are full of pollutants that scare our animals. For me and many of the light workers getting ready to go forward into this weekend, happy July 3rd, 2026. Hello to whoever has just joined me. Oh my goodness. Hello. Sending so much love to everybody. I am going to be pulling a few different oracle cards. One of the actual decks that I'm working with. Where did she go? Okay. So what deck am I using then? Okay. Great. So I have a wonderful deck that is the star codes that are the Astro Oracle cards. I just want to pull some cards right away to invite everybody in and to receive some messages. I want to say that we are in a couple of transits, and I am part of a couple of apps, but I do use Astromatrix, which is free. You can download it and you can actually put your birth information in, which I highly suggest every human being does. The reason why I am an Akashic record reader and I cover astrology is because the astrology covers the energy of where the planets are daily. And I like to educate people on how this affects us going forward from day to day. Right now, 2026 is a tumultuous year as we're in the last year of the Great Purification. I want to say my name is Yahira Lobos, and I am the founder of Crystal Nations Collective. Welcome to my channel. I am covering many different themed things, from anything from being a survivor of different types of trauma, from mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. I myself am a survivor, strong, and I'm here to share information about how to heal mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, as we are collectively here to end human suffering and birth a new earth. I've been doing Akashic record readings for the last 6 years, but I've been doing tarot readings for the last 35 years. And I am certified in many different modalities of healing. And I've been doing the transformational music and art festivals as the founder of Crystal Nations Collective. I am building rainbow medicine water wheels that are unifying all beings back to the sacred heart, back to the sacred circle. I do not follow any guru or leader. We are birthing what is here to help people to come together, connect with Mother Earth, connect to their higher self, and connect to any and all that live here on Earth through the heart. It's not about religion, and it's not about anybody's one particular culture being over another. I am a firm believer, as my name Francine. My birth name means to be free. So I'm here to help bring freedom as an advocate and an activist as well, certified for those that are mentally challenged with neurodivergency, which could be depression, ADHD, CPTSD, PTSD, bipolar, schizophrenia, for those that may have been diagnosed. I am also here as a woman of 54 years of age. I'm Gen X, an indigo child. I believe in as above, so below. And all of the work that I'm doing here is as oracle or a conduit that's bringing the messages of the energy that is here now. Over 15 years ago or 14 years ago, I got sober from hard drugs and alcohol. So I understand anybody who was an alcoholic. I did use some really hard drugs, cocaine, crack, angel dust. That is to be vulnerable, to let you all know I'm from New York. I come from a old school, like death metal crew, SVDC, NYDM. What's up? I love you. I always will. I was a little different when I was younger, and I kind of got lost in a sauce, but I did hang out in New York for about 23 years until I started moving around North America. I lived in 6 different states, guys, and I really have worked with nonprofit organizations to help youth, teenagers. I've been a speaker to bring awareness about mental health. And I'm a true advocate that does not take big pharma. I'm a big advocate for those who would like to try to discover oneself and go down that path of the hero's journey. Medication is absolutely necessary for some people. And I'm not a doctor, and I'm not giving you medical advice here. And I'm not asking people to follow me and give up all that they think and they believe, to think that I am the solution, because we're all different. And I grew up in a different way. I have a different set of things that I've done that actually I consider to be balls to the wall, risky and dangerous. And it was not easy doing everything that I've done in the way that I've done. I'm one of the ones that has been here whistleblowing on the systems that do not serve humanity. So I've been calling out all of the rehabilitation centers and the schools and the court systems and the projects and the hierarchy, and anybody who's shown me that they're out of alignment with actually supporting humanity for the higher good of fucking all. I've actually used my voice as an OG, what's up, and actually have asked the bigger questions. I do not feel that the messengers or the prophets or the ones that are bringing the messages all the time is received well. It could be a big trigger. So I just want to let everybody know I'm in this to actually assist humanity into being enlightened and being empowered, and to raise consciousness and awareness about who you are, why you came here, what are your gifts, what is the trauma that you're overcoming, what is the shadow that you're absolutely allowing yourself to look at, what shadow work, what work in the heart are you doing, what belief systems and perspectives are unhealthy, how can I help you in dissolving that. If you would like a private reading, PM me here, let me know how to find you, or find me on Facebook and PM me. My name is Francine DeGiorgio, and I'm going to put my name right now inside of the comments. And you can actually also find me on Instagram, and I'm underneath Crystal Nation 777. So hello to you. I'm so grateful that we have somebody here, and I'm going to pull the card right now. I'm just going to write my name just so everybody has it, that you can find me on Facebook. Find me on Facebook if interested in a reading, or you have questions about this, if you have any questions about this live feed. So here we go. Just want to take a deep breath and say thank you to Creator. Connect into my higher self. Connect into the astro codes here and all those that are here now and that will come in the future. Taking a deep breath in and releasing. Taking another deep breath to connect to our sacred hearts from heart to heart. All those that are coming now and those that will come in the future. One card already came out. Oh, how wonderful. Another card came out. We'll want to give us 3 cards. Wow. So that was like, this card was these cards are very, very active right now. So I want to say, wow, they came flipping out. I love when they come flipping out. Obviously, the first card that we got is Cancer, and we are in the sun sign of Cancer right now. We also have Mercury retrograde. Mercury is the 3rd planet, the planet of communication. It's retrograde in the planet of Cancer. So here we go. Cancer is symbolized by a crab who asks us to deep dive into the sea of emotion and come back home again. The crab always carries its protective shell. However, this moon-ruled cardinal water sign signifies nutrition in and out of the body and is connected to the breast and the stomach. The sun will shine here in Cancer from June 21st to July 22nd. Action. Be the emotional leader and connect with the parent archetype. If you're in need of parenting yourself, reach out to the divine mother and father, to the earth beneath the sky and above, and feel held. I will just ask here that mother is represented with the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is very much a divine feminine sign. And we're being asked in this emotional water sign to absolutely connect to our emotions and to ask the bigger questions right now as we're having the moon transit in the 7th house. It's really an important theme that's also happening right now. And so we're asking, how are our relationships with those that we live with at home? Cancer does rule the home, and it does actually rule emotions, and it's asking us to be sensitive and to go within and to really see, how are you in right relationship with the people that you are living with, your family, your mother, your father, your children, your partner, your brothers, your sisters. Who do you cohabitate with? Who do you work with on a really intimate level? Who are you doing projects in the community with? What we really want to ask in this transit, as the 7th house is transition and in the focus of marriage and partnership. The sun is also in the sign of Cancer. So we're going to ask these really big questions right now. The action is, be the emotional leader and connect with the parent archetype. If you're in need right now of anything where you don't feel you're receiving it from your partner or somebody that you live with, you need to ask and let them know how you feel in a way that isn't threatening or isn't projecting. So when you use the I statement, taking responsibility for how you feel. And then if you want discernment and you want to ask a question about what they are feeling towards you, ask. Ask for clarity in how people are in relationship with you. Do you need to ask other people a question instead of assuming that you know what they need or how they feel about you? So it's our job to take responsibility for what we think and how we feel. And that's why God gave us a voice to communicate, to actually ask the bigger questions, to use discernment, to ask what's really beneath the facade or the mask or the smile. Let's go a little bit deeper. And in Cancer, you actually can go there, because once you ask for help, also through Creator and Father, and you ask them, hey, can you help me with my relationships and my family? Can you help me bridge this disconnection? Can you help me be more intimate with my loved ones? Can you help me express what I really feel and what I really need? Can you help me find a way to nurture myself and my loved ones? Ask for help through the angeletics and through your ascendant masters, through your deities, who are the holy ones that walk with you in the invisible. We all have a team. We all have benefic guides that are with us, our higher self, the angeletics, the ascendant masters, the god and goddesses, the power animals, those that passed away from our past, our mother and father, our grandmother, grandfather. These are those that are walking with us, the fae, the elementals, right? So ask for help and then start to listen to how you can receive that help. What are the suggestions? What are you being guided to receive? What are you being guided to go to ask for help? What are you being guided to go do something different, right? You want to try different things. If you've been doing the same thing, revolving around a problem that you've had for a long time with somebody, you're going to have to do something different. So think outside of the box. Maybe you can ask the person that you want to sit down with, I'd like to have an intimate heart-to-heart with you. I would like to not be interrupted. I need 1 hour's worth of time. Can we go somewhere where it's really quiet, where it's just me and you? Can we turn off of our phones? I don't want any distractions. Distractions actually distract and take away energy from the thing that I want clarity on. I only need an hour. It might be an hour and a half. Take out the time, block it out, make a time that you both schedule it in, and make sure before you go to that meeting, you breathe, you take a journal, you ask to record it if you need it to be recorded. Come to an agreement at the end of the conversation. Don't just go in there with arms swinging. Ask the bigger questions. Be ready to receive. Listen to great creator. What is leading up to that conversation? What signs is great creator giving you that they want you to look at? Maybe you need to change your perspective. Maybe you need to be open. Maybe it's not about being right and wrong. This is all the information that's coming through me as a channel about how we can look at this time of the 7th house transitioning right now, about in the focus of marriage and partnership, and how we are being affected with Cancer being the sign and the card that we pulled today. So if you're being called to parent others as well, if there's any situation in this reading where you feel that you have children and you're feeling maybe not to only parent them, but maybe you're being asked to parent other people's children. So do it with a balanced approach of honest feedback and support, and make sure you give yourself some self-care. Nurture without enabling others. Don't give others what you need for yourself all your time. Don't help others when you're not eating. Don't help others when you don't have sleep. Model what you want others to do. So nourish the connections with your chosen family and tribe. Nourish your body, the gardens. Take time in your community at this time in the Cancer, and take time in your temple's hearth. So if you have an altar like I have, making sure that see how everything's clean down the side of my. So I spent in this time right now, we had a full moon. I had spent a lot of time in the last few days doing a massive amount of laundry, sweeping, mopping, praying, smudging, arranging, organizing, and paying attention to all the things in my home, making sure that I get my needs met, which is my shoes. I needed certain things for my job. I needed to get toothpaste and food and fruit for myself. I needed to get supplements and dog food for my puppy, making sure that you get all of our needs met, right? I'm making sure that I take my puppy out today. I took her for a 2.5-hour walk because this evening I'm going to be going down to make some time for community and music. So this is an example of how I am, arranging my energy throughout this transit and through this time of Cancer. We are in the month of July. So we want to say happy July. Tomorrow is a day that we are celebrating freedom. Although many of us are not celebrating freedom the way that America might be with fireworks and alcohol. So just want to give a heads up to all of those that might not be doing that. Holla. So right now we're going to be nourishing those connections with our tribe, nourishing our bodies, nourishing the gardens, nourishing the home. If we need more out of life, this is an actual message right now. You're going to actually have to ask for what it is that you need from others. You're going to have to leave the safety of not asking behind, and you're going to have to find the courage to ask for what it is that you need. The safe place for all cancers is home. So making sure you make your home like you see my home with all the pillows, everything's all fluffy and clean and clear. And this is how we go about with getting rid of the clutter so that we can have space. The people who don't have clean homes, heads up, that's not cool. You have to take time to organize and be clean and have space, because actually when you're not organized and you're not clean, parasites, negative thought forms, and entity kind of energies that are dark get stagnant, and they literally suppress, oppress, and repress the energy of an environment very quickly. And the quicker you can open up your windows and smudge or light incense and wash your floors and pray as you wash your floors, add lemon, add grapefruit, add lime to your water, cleanse your waters in a very shamanic way. This is what we do to have clarity of thought. We actually consider our space sacred everywhere we go. You see, even though my hair wasn't done, I couldn't handle that. I got my hair done. I put my lipstick on. I'm already physically ready. I showered last night. So like coming live and being, ready to present yourself in a professional way where it shows that you actually care about yourself. I know there was a hippy dippy moment in my life where it didn't matter if you showered, you didn't wear makeup, you may have allowed yourself to look like whatever. While that is okay, and it's not about how you physically look, and it's not about image in that way, it's also about cleanliness is next to godliness. I don't know why I'm sharing that all, but it's the Cancer month. We are in the Cancer sun sign right now. So we are sharing the sign, immerse yourself in the month of Cancer. The challenge is here that crabs are hard on the outside, but they're soft and squishy on the inside. If you know any Cancers, they're actually very sensitive. They may wear a hard shell to protect their sacred heart. So just remember that the very defenses that you think will keep you safe may actually keep important people out. So we want to release a little bit of that shell and that I don't know you and you're not safe and I don't know if I like you yet. Release that a little bit so that you can actually allow the right people in. You can protect with using your discernment, with asking the right questions. If somebody suddenly does something that's questioning, there's no reason why we can't be directly in our body, mind, heart, and soul and use our discernment with ease and grace. And instead of attacking people, out of curiosity, maybe even being simply, aroused by your curiosity, letting other people know that you're non-threatening by releasing the whole toughness, be kind, be gentle, be graceful. Hey, what did you mean by that? Because let people know what you're thinking. Let people know, what might be running through your mind. Be vulnerable with other people as you're asking them to be vulnerable. Okay. And then here is the gift right now. It's also saying that be aware of the psychic pool in which you float. If you feel tossed by the waves or battered by the anxiety of those around you, dive deeper right now. Okay. This is why we have people meditate in life, is so that they can find their strength and their safe place within. Do you have a safe place within? Because you're being asked to not be impressionable by just any energy. You need to have a backbone. Okay. And you need to actually start to feel cradled by Mother Earth and by your higher self, and not feel so affected by other people and their energy. Know that you're protected and you're safe at all times. That is a message for whoever needs to hear that. Cancers, if you're a Cancer as well, I know that you're sensitive and you might wear that hard shell. The message is really about not losing in your ability to actually keep yourself protected, but making sure that you keep yourself available and use your discernment, your ability to question and use your voice so that you don't sabotage yourself by keeping the right people away. You want to call the right people in. So we got to be a lot more aware about who psychically is in our field of thought, which again, I don't know who this message is for, including myself, but meditation really helps us really go within and know that we're protected at all times by our invisible team around us. So we want to say thank you for the Cancer card, but then we got entrance in through the card called Ascendant. So what is Ascendant? And here we go, giving thanks for these wonderful, wonderful messages. 35 is also 8 in numerology, which represents infinity, but this is a cardinal point. The ascendant is in a natal chart. The ascendant tells a story about how you walked into this life at your birth and how you will walk into any new situation. It describes the door through which you see the world and the world sees you. It's your filter system and it hints at your awakened consciousness. The ascendant, also known as the rising sign, describes the degree of the zodiac just coming up over the eastern horizon at the moment and the place of your birth. So the action here is, how do you see the world? And by the way, do you know your rising sign? And again, you can go to Astromatrix, which is a free app, download it and put in your birth information. It's going to tell you all kinds of cool things, like where the current planets are today and where your planets are this year as your birthday happens. You'll have a chart called the solar return. That's where the planets are going to hit you in your birth chart specifically and uniquely. You want to know, what are you dealing with this year? What transits, what houses are running through your chart that are really amplifying great transformation or challenge? And how can you use the transits and the planets that are in your chart in a positive way to create a life that you love? This is why I love going over astrology. This is why I love to talk about the current energies and how it affects us today. And I like to say that I always personally talk about how I was born into this world physically, but then when you look at it astrologically, that's your rising sign. My rising sign is Leo rising, and it's in the 5th house. So I particularly look at that I was coming here into this planet. Leo is the next month. So all those that are going from July into August, we're going from Cancer into Leo. Leo is the lion. Leo is the one that wears its heart on its sleeve. A lot of people know that Leos have a big passion. They're definitely meant to be seen. They have their face forward in public. You could be a public speaker. You could be in entertainment, public relations. You could be a singer. You could be here mainly to express yourself, be seen in the eyes of the public, either as a writer, as a storyteller, as an actor. You are here to demonstrate to humanity how to express their heart and how to actually be human here on earth with all that you love and all that you're passionate about. You take those passions and you become that way shower for humanity to really tap into how to express themselves. So it's a really cool thing that I just described about the ascendant of Leo for anybody who's an ascendant Leo. But what is your rising sign? Again, go to Astromatrix and find out. So we're also going to ask, what can you do in this world, and take a good look at how the assumptions and the presumptions of others through which also you filter your experience of reality. So how do other people look at reality? How do you look at reality? And look at your privilege. I talk about this all the time in my real life, that everybody in America is a lot more privileged and spoiled than everybody else on the planet that starves for food, that's living in a war zone, that doesn't even have access to clean food, water, or shelter. So a lot of times we need to really look at our own privilege. So we also might not be privileged. And like myself, I'm a survivor of so many abuses, but at the same time, I also can look at where I was privileged as opposed to other people, even though I suffered. You understand? You understand what I'm saying, right? Everybody has a sense of privilege and a sense of deprivation. So we want to look at that. And we really want to look at how your privilege and your trauma and your or certain attributes of your history can actually distort the reality of any moment. Because if you haven't healed your trauma and something loud snaps in your field around you, you could suddenly get alarmed, freaked out, angry, frustrated, yell at whoever caused that sound. And you could have a reaction to a sound that was loud that happened around you that didn't have anything to do with you. Nobody was trying to attack you. Nobody was trying to alert you. Nobody meant to actually create a reaction in you where you were alerted and upset, right? Nobody was trying to trigger you. So a lot of times, you got to look at what are you reacting to, and take a moment and ask yourself, how has your privilege or your trauma created the response of how you reacted instead of responded to any situation in your life? We're not always right about how we think other people are wrong or how we get upset at other things outside of us that we have no control over. We're looking at the triggers and the shadow work of humanity right now. So this is what I'm talking about. So, what are we doing to dismantle those obstructions so that we can see the whole view? We need to ask the bigger questions on what are you being triggered by and do that shadow work. And also taking some courses and classes on what is your perspective and your beliefs based on in this lifetime. Take some time to journal, auto write, take some time to somatic write in your journal and ask these bigger questions, right? So we are asking to open that conversation up between you and your higher self. Very good message. So conversely, we're also looking at the signals that you can actually send off. Do they match your intent? So are you meaning what you're saying as you're saying it? Is there a vibration that's not matching your words that's actually giving other people a red flag and a heads up that they need to use their discernment with you? Are you asking somebody questions with a smile, but you really can't stand them and you want to make them wrong for who they are? They might feel that. So remember, whoever you're going towards and asking the bigger questions to, make sure you do it out of the sacred heart with compassion and be open to listen to a different perspective or hear a different answer than the one that you think that you should hear. Ha ha! This is called expansion of consciousness. So also, do you need to know or say that you're fine when you really need, do you really need a hug and you're saying you're all right? When people are like, hi, how are you? You could say, I really could use a hug. I'm not really okay. Instead of saying, I'm okay, everything's fine, how are you? You don't always have to do that. Are you trained to sound modest or apologetic when really you know what you're doing? I do that all the time. I constantly downplay what I really know so that other people don't feel threatened by me, because sometimes when people feel threatened by other people that might know something that they may have not known, there's a lot of narcissism in the world. There's a lot of empaths in the world. There's a lot of people pleasing in the world. And there's a lot of people that use energy to bully other people. And we're finding out that there's a lot of shadow. We have to develop self-confidence and self-esteem. Cancer is the great month that we can do that in. We are in the sun sign Cancer. We're in Mercury retrograde Cancer. So we really want to learn how to communicate as we're transitioning in the 7th house right now of marriage and partnership, as we're looking at how the ascendant actually challenges us to look at our perspectives and how we're showing up energetically. So the ascendant is where we become visible. It's, if this makes you nervous, investigate what needs to be healed about your voice or your presence finally being seen. Where do you need to grow your confidence in order to feel comfortable being seen? You're meant to be seen as a teacher, as a way shower. If that makes you feel uncomfortable, develop your actual self-esteem and your self-confidence. Take classes like dance or any kind of martial arts or qigong or yoga. When you work with other people in a group and you become part of a community mindset that's healthy, working out, breathe in, meditation, any of these forms of self-love and care, working with the group mindset in the collective raises consciousness and awareness and helps you be able to be seen when you're ready to teach what it is that you have, and also share the gift and talent where you're actually being seen by others. So the challenge is the front door is only one part of the house. Be willing to look beyond the appearances of people and start listening to the heart. Start looking for the coherence between the vibration of their voice and what it feels like and the words that they're saying that's hitting you. Do they match? Are they in coherence? Is it aligned? Does it resonate? How does that vibration feel? Is that resonance towards you? That's the challenge. The front door is only one part of the house. Be willing to look beyond the appearance of the hearts, but look beyond the appearances and into the heart, but don't count on others' abilities to do it as well. So you might be a little bit more conscious than other people, and you might be more aware of what they're not aware of. And it's not always your job to tell them where they're at consciously. In the spiritual community, it's not our job to take other people on and let them know where they're at and what you see. And you do not just share that with other people. You ask for permission. We don't want to give unsolicited advice to other people and take on their energy and what they're going through. Just be observant for your own self so that you know how to navigate in community, in families, without taking on the challenges, right? So over time, your reputation is built on what you do, not how you look. That's badass. That's the Ascendant card. And then the last card that we got, oh, wow, how wonderful. And it really goes in cahoots with the other cards. This is Mercury, and it's card number 20, which is partnerships. It's really number 2 that we're looking at. 2 plus 0 is 2. So in numerology, we're looking at Mercury, which is bringing messages. Mercury symbolizes your mental switchboard. Mercury symbolizes your mental switchboard, how you think, communicate, and move through the world. It's the smallest planet, and it rules Gemini and Virgo, and it's closest to the sun, completing its orbit at 88 Earth days. And because it orbits so close, it can only be found in the same sign as the sun and the one before it and the one after it. Mercury has a large, dense, molten core, and one day on the planet takes 58 Earth days. Mercury retrogrades are 3 times a year for 3 weeks. So we have Mercury in Cancer for the next 3 weeks. It just went in retrograde on June 29th, just 4 days ago. Okay, guys? Meow. And we want to look at this card is coming in as a message for us right now. Communicate. The mood is quick, fast, and cerebral. Look at your situation from many different sides. Be light on your feet and make sure that you have all the information that you need. And if not, be ready to research, investigate, translate, meditate, check your facts, and learn. Follow up on all lines of communication to make sure others understand what you said. So review all contracts, verbal into written. Make them written contracts so that you understand what you're being asked of and what you can expect. Don't assume what the agreements are or the contracts are that you're going into. So any rental agreements, any work agreements, any projects, any work trade that has to do with your hard work, exchanging for anybody else's commodity or service or product. We want to make sure that we also know what we're purchasing, if we really need it, how it works, if we have all the things and, tools that we need to hook it up. Can we hook it up in the environment that we live? Are there any problems with purchasing it and receiving it and setting it up, ask all the bigger questions. Is it returnable? Do you have your receipt? Make sure that you have everything in writing. Make sure that you're clear. Ask a lot of questions. It's the time when Mercury's retrograde that difficulty in communication can appear. So we want to make sure before we post anything, before we write anything, before we communicate anything, that we also meditate about it and come from the sacred place of the heart so that people don't get confused. Go slow. Make sure there's no distractions. Make sure you're sitting down. Make sure that all people are clear. Make sure they ask questions. Don't just be the one that asks questions. Other people might not be as secure in their confidence as you are. This is where we're actually paying attention to that. If you're insecure and you don't have self-confidence, be aware of how you're going into communication during Mercury retrograde for the next 3 months. Okay, I want to go over that a little bit more so that you understand where Mercury is at. Let's talk about this. Let's see. Do we have it written here? It should be here. Oh, it will be. Here it is. Mercury in Cancer. I also want to share that this is the follow-up time to communicate, to make sure others understand what you said, and to make sure you understand what they intended. While Mercury's retrograde and we've received the Mercury card, this is huge. So publish, broadcast, network, and engage social media. That's why I'm going live, because I heard I got to write my book and I need to go on social media because I am an oracle. I am a conduit. And I'm here to actually bring in the messages to the people by the people because we are the people. I'm also being asked to write my memoir, to get back up on stage, to become a public speaker. And so this might be for anybody who else is listening. I'm being asked to go live on Facebook and YouTube and to make sure that I get the messages out there, to get my readings out there, and to make sure that I publish my book and that I promote myself and that I promote the work that I do, like the readings that I do. I am an Akashic record reader. I do oracle readings. All of the offerings are in the description. Please like, love, and share this content out. So mythological Mercury could be a trickster when he worked for himself, but he also played the role of the psychopomp, diving into the underworld to escort trapped spirits out of it. If you need to go down into your own personal underworld, it may be a time to walk with a therapist, shamanic healer, and in other guides that go deep into that realm. So anybody who works with EMDR, somatic therapist, work with astrologers, work with those that know how to move energy. So in the shamanic world, I would definitely go there. This is a good time to do soul retrieval, a time to retract lost parts of your soul and to really tap into your gift here. Mercury's the messenger of the gods, and he's asking us to listen deeply to the messages of our soul, the conduit to spirit, and become the messenger. So we are the messenger. And this is an incredible message for anybody who is an oracle like I am. You want to emerge. You want to share your messages with the people. Find your niche. Find your actual way of getting yourself out there. I know that there's an algorithm of 30 to 40 days. Going live every day would be really helpful. I wanted to also read what Mercury in retrograde is going to bring up for all of us. So Mercury in Cancer retrograde takes us on an emotional archaeology expedition, excavating memories, family patterns, and the stories that we tell ourselves about belonging. This is why soul retrieval, Dolores Canyon's work, right? Or any Lisa Renee's work, find her on www.syntheticenergetics.com, okay? Or find them both on YouTube. Lisa Renee sells really great guided meditations from $1 to $11 to $33. And they're literally about shadow work and activations and transmissions to protect ourselves during what I call the Great Purification. This is the 13th year that the Kogi and the Hopi have shared with us that we are purifying body, mind, heart, and soul. This is why you see a lot of calamic um, episodes with the natural disasters taking place. We have a lot of fire, we have a lot of rain, and the earth is purging herself while we're also dissolving all of the old systems, the patriarchal energy of control, fear, and separation from spirit. We are ending that era. As Pluto actually went into Aquarius, we are actually now in the new earth energy, but this is the 13th year of the Great Purification. So the shadow's coming up for the collective on a really deep level. This is where all of the light workers might be able to see the separation between people and source connected. And this is the time where the prophecy rock talked about, the Hopi talked about, we have a choice. We're at a choice point. All of the Hopi said we'll either be able to choose that which takes us away from Mother Earth and our higher self and the divine sacred heart and feeling connected to the elements and Mother Earth and her cosmic knowingness and being. And we will either want to work simply with the elements of the earth, the water, earth, air, and fire, and come holistically into the simplicity of living by growing our own food, right? And cooking with our own hands and tending to our families in a natural, loving way. This is called natural intelligence, or we will actually demise to artificial intelligence. So we want to pay attention to how we're actually allowing ourselves to be separated from what we innately know that is natural as opposed to that which is artificial. So we want to actually pay attention to how we're using AI. I am here on YouTube. Obviously, we're all connected to apps and artificial intelligence through social media and through the media. And it is being helpful in a certain way. We need to be mindful of how we're using it. Here with Mercury in retrograde, though, in Cancer, old conversations might resurface and childhood memories might demand attention because this is a deep personal retrograde, asking us to revisit all of our relationships with home, family, and emotional security. And we're given a chance to rewrite the narrative of our past. And I love this because in my own life, I haven't seen my blood family in 14 years, but this year I will be able to return home and be the light worker, be the way shower. I don't have to take on all of my family's belief systems and healing journey and make them think what I'm thinking or feeling. But it is natural for me to want to go home eventually to let them know that they are the love and I'm here to assist my own family in whatever way possible to evolve consciously and to be the light. I'm not perfect, so I'm going to be authentically myself with them. And that means that it's a second opportunity for me to actually love the family that God gave me and to, work at being intimate and work out any difficulties and tap into joy and love and leave behind a better legacy for my family. That is what my intention is during these transits. Mercury is retrograde in Cancer until July 23rd. And this is how we can utilize this whole transit. So from June 29th to July 23rd, the expression is in the mind. The theme is security. The ruler is the moon. The element is water. And the modality is cardinal. And so during this cycle, communication will become more feeling based and less rational. We may find ourselves more reactive, defensive, or protective of our inner world. And this is natural because Cancer is actually asking Mercury, and we received both of those cards. We received Cancer and Mercury. And this is natural because Cancer is asking Mercury to honor emotions as valid information, not obstacles to clear thinking. It's an excellent time to actually journal about your past and have healing conversations with your family members and simply create a safe space to feel whatever needs to be felt. I love this because this is where I would go into somatic journaling and set up an altar like my altar behind me, lighten a candle with intention. And if you have any difficulties with anybody in your family, you might want to write in your journal. And somatic journaling is, what do you feel in your body when you think about your relationship with your mother, with your father, with your sister, with your daughter, with your son, with your brother? And what difficulties have you had? What challenges have arisen? What do you love about this person? What do you like? What do you dislike? How can you come into right relationship with this person? How can you communicate more clearly? What is it that you need from this person? What do you receive from this person? How can you naturally balance this out? So what you really feel in your heart can also be expressed, and asking for a solution would be great. So finding a way to do something after a hard conversation that's just joy and love can change the vibration. So ending the conversation with a song, a movie, something uplifted so you can shift the energy of the old into the new is what's coming through as a conduit. This is not coming from the app. This is what's coming from source. And then during this cycle, it's natural right now for Cancer to ask Mercury to honor the emotions as valid information and not obstacles to the clear thinking. It's an excellent time. They're saying to go over the past, to go into the future in the best way possible. We're creating a safe space to feel whatever needs to be felt. So when we have conversations with our family members, when we ask them if we can have a moment to make sure it's not interrupted, we can create a safe, beautiful, nurturing environment. Candles, an altar, music, right? To make the conversation be held in love and let the other person know that you care about how they feel, right? Because letting other people know the positive things in the beginning is really helpful as well. That also is channeled. Who needs to hear that? The shadow may manifest as moodiness and emotional manipulation or getting stuck in the victim stories about the past. Yet the gift is beautiful. The opportunity is to heal the generational wounds through conscious communication and to understand your emotional patterns with compassionate clarity and to redefine what home and security mean to you. You might also want to journal that. What does safety feel like? What does safety look like? Right? How can I create a safe environment? What does that mean to me? What does that mean to my family members? And ask them, how can we create a safe environment? This is also being received as a conduit right now, as a channel from source. I'm being asked to share this with you now. This retrograde is asking you to speak from your heart, even when the words may come with tears. You're being asked to understand your emotional patterns with compassionate clarity and notice that of others as well. I love that. And the other actual transit that's happening right now is Pluto's in Aquarius right now from May 6th. That was almost 2 months ago. And it's going to happen all the way until October 15th. This is a longer transit. So I just want to talk about that. The expression is power. The theme is progress. And the ruler's Uranus, the planet of change, shock, and transformation and rebellion. And the element is air. The degree is 5 and the modality is fixed. The opportunity here is to purge our old patterns while we're balancing power. And the challenges are to realize control and overcome intensities. This is all about power shifts right now. So it really goes into cahoots when I speak about Mercury in retrograde with Cancer, and we have the sun sign in Cancer until July 21st. So we're dealing with a couple of signs right now in Cancer. In fact, I'm going to read to you where all the current planets are right now. The sun is in Cancer at 11 degrees. Mercury is in Cancer at 25 degrees. And we have the 12th house in Cancer. Right now, we have the moon in Aquarius at 22 degrees. So this is a big day. Mercury's in Cancer at 25 degrees retrograde. Venus is in Leo at 23 degrees. Mars is in Gemini at 3 degrees. Jupiter's in Leo at 0 degrees. Saturn's in Aries at 14 degrees. Uranus is in Gemini at 3 degrees. Neptune is in Aries at 4 degrees. Pluto's in Aquarius retrograde at 4 degrees. True node, which is our north node, is in Pisces retrograde at 0 degrees. Ascendant is in Leo at 27 degrees. The ascendant, the midheaven is in Taurus at 23 degrees. Lilith moon is in Sagittarius at 21 degrees. Chiron, the wounded healer, is in Taurus at 0 degrees. By the way, Chiron was in Aries, a fire sign, for a very long time. And last month, it switched over to Taurus in 0 degrees. I'll read what that's all about. Ceres is in Gemini at 14 degrees. Pallas Athena is in Aries at 18 degrees. Juno's in Aquarius retrograde at 8 degrees. Our part of fortune is in Aries at 8 degrees. Our IC is in Scorpio at 23 degrees. Our south node is in Virgo at 0 degrees. Aquarius in the 27 degrees. We have Leo in the first house. We have Virgo in the second house, Libra in the third house, Scorpio in the fourth house, Sagittarius in the fifth house, Capricorn in the sixth house, Aquarius in the seventh house, Pisces in the eighth house. That's of death, money, and taxes. The eighth house deals with all of those things, and it's in Pisces, a water sign. So heads up there. Ninth house is in Aries. 10th house is in Taurus. 11th house is in Gemini. And 12th house is in Cancer. That's very, very cool. And right now, we're dealing with the transits big time. Okay, so I was going to read to you what the Pluto retrograde in Aquarius was also doing. It's actually making us turn our gaze inward in this Pluto retrograde, okay? It's not enough to want new systems while running on an old consciousness. Remember, I spoke about the patriarchal paradigm shifting into the new earth. So we're going into not just a matriarchal paradigm, but a matriarchal and patriarchal, which will be androgynous. So it won't really be about gender going forward. I'm way from the future speaking ahead of time, but just want everybody to know that the patriarchal was dominating mankind, and we're turning our gaze inward as this retrograde is asking us to look at where our consciousness is at. So we need to look at where our power of awareness and consciousness is at, so that we can actually assist the conscious humanity that's dismantling the old systems that are literally created out of control, wanting and desiring to control humanity. This is where the matrix was formed, where many of the systems that are created out of fear, control, greed, the hierarchy is a system based on the pyramid, where the top stay at the top and the bottom stay at the bottom. We're ending that old patriarchal paradigm. And now we're asking everybody during this Pluto retrograde, the best way that you can actually handle this transit is to actually look at how you secretly are craving influence, approval, or control. That's a red flag. If you really want people to notice you, if you really need approval, if you really need validation, if you're really craving all of that, you need to go within and expose the shadow inside the progress and look at that ideological possession. Look at our digital dependency on AI. Look at how the groupthink is consciously behaving in a group, a project, a family, right? There's a whole group thing where people won't confront the pink elephant in the room because of fear of the old patriarchal paradigm, because of greed, right? So we want to look at what's this group thinking about, right? Huh? Are they clear? Are they all just following the leader because they're afraid? Are they afraid to challenge the matrix? Are they afraid to ask the right questions because we're discerning that these people in control are not having our best interest or the interests of Mother Earth at stake, at the heart? What old patterns need to be purged out of these systems? What is no longer okay in the court system, everybody? What is no longer okay in the mind groupthink of the doctors and the scientists? What old patterns are we purging that are imbalanced power systems in school, in politics? Where are we realizing that the control is in the hands of the wrong fucking people? How are we overcoming the intensity that is happening while most people on planet Earth are living out of a car, out of a van? A lot of natural disasters are happening. We're in the influx right now of birthing this new Earth that we end human suffering, and we have new systems, a new medical system, a new educational system. We're not going to continue to teach our children lies from history books that do not tell all of the history. We're not going to program our children through books in the curriculum that no longer serves humanity. We're no longer going to ask humanity to get shots and vaccines that is poison us. We're no longer going to allow pipelines to be inside of the earth that explode, contaminating our clean water in sacred spaces all around the earth. We're not going to allow chemicals to be in the sky, poisoning our crops and our people, inhaling toxins that has aluminum and mercury that cause illness and dementia and diseases, cancer here on earth. This is what Mercury retrograde is doing in Aquarius right now. The work is not psychological. It's not cosmetic. Notice where our attention is going and what needs our attention right now. Notice where the collective is telling you what to think. What is in social media that's popular? What are people clicking on that they love? What are they paying attention to? What are they buying? What are you buying? What are you allowing in your mind that is parasitic? What is poisonous that you're drinking and eating? What are we doing that is no longer healthy for us? And notice right now when the media is telling us, or leaders that are false lights that are corrupt, notice when they tell us what to think, notice where our rebellion is. And notice where our rebellion might be tied to the fucking thing that it hates. So this is where in our own righteousness, we become fucking wrong, even though there's no such thing as right and wrong. This is all being channeled to you by me, Yahira Lobos. I am using the app Astromatrix, and I'm receiving the astrology to give you the actual energetic report on what is in the field today. As a reader, an Akashic record reader, and as a tarot reader, over 35 years of experience. I am Yahira Lobos, the founder of Crystal Nations Collective, where I am a voice for the voiceless, and I'm raising consciousness and awareness for those that are a survivor and those that are neurodivergent to step into their version of what the new earth can be. And I'm asking for all of humanity that is healing on the hero's journey to find out what it is that they love so that they can birth the new earth. This is Pluto retrograde in Aquarius that I'm going over. If you're following me right now, thank you. Hit that like button, smash that share button, and share this out with anybody who might need a reading. I start at $50 a half hour, and I go up to $111 for an hour and a half. My readings are worth $300 to $500, but I'm giving it that cheap because I want to be really clear with Great Creator, and I want to work really hard for what I deserve, and I want to be reasonable in prices for where we're at during this transition. I want to meet people where they're at. I know that I have 35 years of being on the hero's journey under my belt. I'm a true OG. I'm here to give you the energetics and the astrology, and also to give you the truth. I do human design and gene key reports for $155. I've paid $500 for the charts that are not even as good as me. I give you journal prompting. I go over how to embody the light and the dark within your system. What are the best career choice points? What is your life purpose all about? What are the Siddhiti gifts that you're inherently holding within your gene keys, within your DNA? How do you show up energetically? How can you utilize your energy in the environment that best suits you? What is that environment all about? How do you embody your shadow? How do you embody your light? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? I go over all of that, and I email you a 25-page PDF. That is amazing. And if you want to add 111, I'll give you an hour and a half to go over that. First, you need to read it, take notes, go over your actual PDF. It will take you at least 2 weeks to book an Akashic record reading with me once you get your PDF. But 2 weeks from your PDF, I'll give you, actually, and I'm going to only charge them, it'll be a discount, I know, of only $11, but I will charge you $100 for that hour and a half. So it'll be $255. That's amazing for what takes me 3 hours to complete. It takes me an hour and a half to do the PDF. Okay, guys? And I want to get back to the Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So the work right now that we're doing is we're being asked to reclaim our power from the systems, from the screens, from the tribes, from the families, and the inherited identities. But we're also from our own compulsions. So we need to kind of find a balance, right? And real liberation is not just breaking free from control. It's also needing to recreate how we come into balance with power. Okay. The gift is fierce and it's necessary here. It's a deeper relationship with authority, authenticity, and collective responsibility. And when we stop outsourcing our power, we stop feeding the fucking structures and the corrupt systems that we claim to oppose. This is where we do this. When we do the inner excavation, our contribution becomes cleaner, less reactive, less performative, and more useful. And this is not about talking revolution. This is about doing. It's about becoming someone who does not unconsciously rebuild the prison in a more fashionable form, but takes the time to rebuild the new earth with our hands. It's 11:11. I want to give thanks to great creator for all that there is, and asking for all of our benefic guides now to come here and be with us of the north, east, west, south, above, below, within. We command all entities and energies that do not represent light and love for the highest good of all humanity to now go into the light to be love transmuted and healed in all directions of time and space, all that is known and unknown, past, present, and future, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually in all timelines, dimensions, past lives, realities, and timelines. It is done. It is done. It is done. Please bring us into remembrance. May we all heal mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And may we all come into our optimum balance of well-being. I ask for truth, justice, and wisdom, compassion, humility, and strength and courage. And we ask, great creator, for all of those that no longer belong in the hierarchy to be dissolved, and for the truth to come out, for truth and justice and respect. I pray for all of us to plant the seeds of the new earth with our talents and our gifts for the higher good of all. May we all come into prosperity, wellness, and well-being. And aho, aho, aho. And so it is. Ahe, ahe, ahe. Show us, show us, show us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Want to give thanks to all of you. I feel that I am complete with bringing in a message at 109 minutes. I feel really good here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Just going to see if there was anything else I wanted to talk about on. I think we're good here. We're also renegotiating our sacred bonds in Aquarius from June 5th this month, last month, to September 16th. And I just want to let you know the expression here is commitment. The theme is progress. The ruler is Uranus. The element is air. The degree is 11. The modality is fixed. So Juno, the planet, it's considered a smaller planet, is retrograde in Aquarius. And it doesn't ask us to reimagine commitment as a beautiful thing. It asks us to notice what we've been using, how we've been using commitment to avoid certain things. So there's a lot of people that are in a group mindset, and I don't need to read right now, that are avoiding confronting their own shadow and the shadow of the consciousness in the collective. So don't hide behind your partnership. Don't hide behind your groups, and don't hide behind a certain group of people that you think, oh, this proves that I'm a good person and I mean well, and look what I'm doing. We all do that from time to time, but we over identify with the groups that we're joining. We really need to learn how to become sovereign right now. I'm also going to share that it asks us right now, the Aquarius promise is seductive. So find somebody who gets you and who does not need me or you to be smaller, who celebrates our strangeness. Aquarius and Juno often masks a much older pattern. We may have learned early that closeness meant losing ourselves, that intimacy required us to contract. So we may have built a philosophy around freedom and called it enlightenment. We may tell ourselves that we want a partner who respects our independence, but what we may actually want is a partner who doesn't actually require us to show up. This is actually a heads up for all those who date avoidance. And if you're an avoider, this is calling out those people in relationship that avoid intimacy and avoid actual relationship with another, where you actually are being held accountable, transparent. Can you be that with another human being? I just got out of a relationship 2 years ago, for anybody else who may have, with an avoidant. And I knew that if I stayed in that relationship, I would never find intimacy and true love and true light. And how can I go ahead and be the founder of Crystal Nations Collective if I'm not allowing myself to truly be held and truly be loved for who I really am? I also was hanging out with a bunch of women and men in the spiritual community that thought that they were better than me. And the only reason why they hung out with me is because I am an advocate and activist for the neurodivergent, owning that I am myself sufferer of CPTSD. But do I really take that on as my identity? Actually, no. I don't take pharmaceutical medication, so therefore I don't identify as a true person with CPTSD, but yet I am neurodivergent, I am strange, and I'm a lot different from many of the people that you'll meet. And it wasn't until 50 years old of age that I really embraced my own strangeness and knew that I wasn't really for everybody. Are you kind of like me, but in your own unique way? Do you need to find people that actually will embrace your uniqueness rather than make fun of you, bully you? And I was a part of many mean girl clubs where all of the girls thought that they were prettier and better and smarter than me. And in their eyes, they were. And I always hung out with people where, by me playing small and lying about who I really am, made them feel better, and I felt unattacked by them. But this is what we're ending in with this Juno planet in retrograde in Aquarius. This is what we're ending. This retrograde is asking us to look at the relationships that we may have rejected or kept at a distance. So I had to also notice where I kept certain men. In some big ways, I also was an avoidant. And I was avoiding finding love and being loved because I didn't really think I was lovable. By the way, for myself, I joined a somatic therapy called EMDR. That is like an eye rapid movement. It desensitizes, helps you, get into your body and feel somatically with what you feel, and helps you release the past so that you could realign your right brain with your left brain and start to make decisions rather from your trauma, but rather from the place where you're safe and you created healthy boundaries for yourself, and where you can actually start using your voice and your discernment, where you're not a victim and you can get off the fucking hamster wheel of absolutely avoiding being hurt and being in relationship with people who don't really like you, love you, or really want to be with you. So if you suffer from PTSD or neurodivergency like me, this might pertain to us right now. Maybe that's why the last transit I got to actually read right now. I was going to get off the phone with you and they were telling me, my gods, no, 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 no. You got to read this retrograde. It's really important. So we're looking at where we notice when we might have called a need for a time to threat. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Notice the moment. Okay. The retrograde is asking us to look at relationships that we rejected or kept at a distance. Notice the ones where someone wanted consistency from you and you named it control. Notice when you called a partner's need for your time a threat to your autonomy. Notice the moment you decided that wanting too much was a character flaw in them and not an invitation to you. You may spend this cycle rewriting your commitment history as a story of boundaries and self-protection when it's actually a story of fear. You text sporadically. You keep plans vague. You maintain the option to leave. And you've convinced yourself that this is integrity. It's not spiritual community or humanity. It's not. The failure mode of Aquarius and Juno is mistaken detachment for wisdom. Freedom becomes the reason you never commit fully. Friendship becomes the reason you never risk being truly known. Shared vision becomes abstract enough that no one can actually hold you accountable to it. You are attracted to people who are also unavailable, and you call this mutual respect. You prefer partners with their own lives, which is healthy, but what you really prefer is a partner that you don't have to accommodate. You do not have to adjust. You do not have to say where you're going or when you're coming back. You don't have to explain why you disappeared for 3 weeks. That arrangement is not partnership. It's a parallel living with occasional sex. The uncomfortable truth is you may be using the language of evolved partnership to justify what you have never actually tried. Real commitment to an Aquarius ideal means genuine friendship, shared vision, when both people show up fully, and requires us to be consistent with somebody who sees us. It requires sometimes for us to be a little boring, to show up when we might not feel like it, to care about somebody else's day, even if our own day might have been more interesting, to actually stay when leaving would be easier. Aquarius does not exempt you from this. It just means the person that you're staying for should not ask you to be someone else. Booyah. I hope that this all really helps everybody. I am stopping at 117. I think that's really great. If you'd like to book a reading, let me know. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Tomorrow's July 4th. Keep your pets inside and keep them safe. I'm staying home with my beautiful Alira star. We want to thank all of my benefic guides and yours of the Northeast, West, South, above, below, within. Thank you, thank you, thank you to Alira star. Thank you to all of you for supporting, liking, sharing, commenting, and for booking a reading. Just look in the descriptions for all of that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Aho and ahey.